Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and it's time for a positive spin. Today, we're going to be talking about The Jar. Now, my history with this film is pretty much non existent, although, my friend, and I've mentioned this a bunch of times, I have a friend that owns a video slash used records, DVDs, Blu rays, games, figures. He also owns a spot in the flea market. So he's got two places. And in his store, in the very top, there was this videotape. And he actually had two of them called The Jar. Never heard of this movie before. Never heard of it. And then I looked at the price on it, and he wanted $20 for the videotape. And I was like, nah, that's not going to work for me. I don't know if I'm going to like this film. Um, yeah, I just didn't want to spend that much money. So a couple of my friends have reviewed this film, and they had the videotape, and they didn't like it at all. So I was like, huh, interesting. Then I find out that TerrorVision, which is what this is, released this film on Blu-ray. Now this is the TerrorVision Blu-ray with the slipcover. And all of a sudden, I needed to see this film. Don't know why, but I needed to see this film. So my daughter asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and she ended up getting me The Jar, Slashers from TerrorVision, and also Hollow Gate from TerrorVision. And I was getting ready to watch it after my birthday, which was July 22nd. And I was talking to Joe, and I asked him if he had The Jar, because I had just put it in. And he said, yeah, he has it somewhere on videotape or something. And I asked him if he had seen it, and he said, yeah. And I looked at the score on IMDb, which was a 2.8, and I said, why don't I save this and we can do this for positive spin? Because regardless of whether I liked it or not, and that's the whole point of positive spin, I'll reiterate that whether I like a movie or not is immaterial. There's always good things to say about films, regardless of whether you like them or not. That's why we do positive spin, to kind of combat a lot of the negativity in this world. And this is just a small part that we're doing to, I don't know, it gets you down after a while. Everyone's so negative all the time. So anyway, I put the jar back, put the lid back on the jar, yeah, and decided to do it for positive spin. And wow, I was completely blown away. Now I'm going to say this first. Um, I understand why a lot of people don't like it. I get it. It is a very different kind of film. But they trash it. I was reading some of the reviews, and it was just a lot of the things I disagree with when people are trashing this film. Anyway, so let's put a positive spin on The Jar. Right away, this is also called Sharon. It's from 1984, too. Now, I love the musical synth score that reprises itself throughout the film. I think it's freaking fantastic. And there's also some parts with wind chimes that really fits the film well. So the score is, to me, is brilliant. Um, the green and red lights inside the car is a really cool effect, and I believe they have this on the back. Yeah, a little bit. You can barely see it, but but it's not just during the car scene. They have a lot of brilliant lighting in this film. The thing in the jar looks really cool. It's like a demon baby, and I think it's just fun. It was a clever way to make a movie about something that was fairly simple. I like the dreamlike quality of this, and that is what this film feels like, a fever dream. The experimental filming styles are really cool, and it's also a time machine. A lot of great 80s stores that are now gone, you can see when he's walking down the street in the town. The lighting throughout the entire thing is just different, and you can tell they put a lot of work into this. It does tell a it does tell a cohesive story, in my opinion, and I like the story that it tells. There's not much to it, but the story that they're telling, I think, is interesting. And there's just really cool imagery in this film. And the one thing I wanted to say most of all, for the people who have the videotape, this is another reason why I kind of understand why some people didn't like it. There are some scenes that are extremely dark, as they were filmed, extremely dark, and it's hard to tell what's going on. It's not that many scenes, but there's a few. What TerraVision did that's going to be different from the actual videotape itself is they actually have two different versions of this film on this Blu-ray. There's a high res and a low res. Now, I watched the same one that Joe had. I watched the low res. That's why I know that some of the scenes are filmed really dark. So I'm kind of looking forward to, in a little bit, to going back and watching the high res uh, version of the film. I just thought that this was an incredibly creative, interesting, really neat film. Have you seen The Jar? What do you think? Definitely comment down below. And check it out if you get a chance. It may not be your cup of tea, which I completely understand. But then again, like me, it completely blew me away. It's kind of like an artsy sort of film, in my opinion. Um, so, yeah, check it out. Or don't. But don't forget to check out Joe's positive spin for The Jar. Remember, guys, physical media matters. And until next time, peace.